What advice your parents gave you turned out to be complete bullshit. Don't take that scholarship, it's only to help the poor. Yes mum, but we are only borderline middle class, and that scholarship would have meant I didn't have to work every weekend in uni. Computers will never catch on. Don't waste any more of your time on them. Wasted a decade doing random temping jobs before finally working with computers. Now they harass me all the time to fix their devices. Rule 1 of it, never let anyone know you are it. Rule 2 of it, when they find out, tell them you are retired, or that you went into management. You can't just apply online. Get dressed up, go to Lockheed Martin, introduce yourself, and ask if they have any available positions. I didn't do it for the record, they were just so adamant about it. My parents. They just did not understand how many places these days only do applications online, and showing up isn't going to do anything. Speaking as a HR professional, sometimes just showing up will do something. Annoy the employer that you interrupted them and didn't follow the application instructions, which make it fair for all applicants. Just because someone shows up in person, especially when the ad says no phone inquiries/walk-ins, doesn't mean you get put ahead of the applicants that followed the proper process. If you study for the final year of high school, you'll never have to study for the rest of your life. I think this is very India-specific advice though. Boy, were they wrong. My mom once told me that men never had to apologize, and that saying sorry was the woman's job. I knew instantly how bullshit it was, and it made me wonder what kind of freaking Stockholm syndrome my father gave my mom. Flattery will get you nowhere. Kissing ass is actually very helpful in getting ahead. There ain't nothing open after midnight but bars and girls' legs. I never could find any of those girls. Drop out of college. You're too depressed to make it to graduation. Wrong. I made it. Anything about how to handle a bully. I should've taken a baseball bat to that asshole's face. Get into the best college you can. We'll figure out how to pay for it. Guess who has a ton of student loan debt now? Yep, my mom was adamant that she'd pay at least the first year of college. Then she saw the bill and said she'd pay the first semester. Then she'd pay books. Then she'd only pay for one book, etc. She ended up not paying anything, and I spent my first year at a college way out of my financial range. Had to transfer to a community college and try not to cry as I paid off the bills from the previous year. Work doing what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. I do love what I do, but it's still freaking hard work. People only pretend to be your friends to take advantage of you. Family is what matters.
N.
Don't waste too much time on the computer. Become a full-time software developer. Video games are a waste of time was a big one too. I now use Unity to create novel visualizations for novel satellite data. I take so much inspiration from video games to this day that now help people make better sense of scientific data. My parents used to tell me I was spending too much time playing video games. I was spending too much time playing Roblox in particular. Then I learned how Roblox Studio works and learned how to program from it. Now I'm in my second software engineering co-op and 1 semester away from finishing my bachelor's in CS. The real kicker is they still think I spend too much time on my computer. Shrug. Anything about dating a girls. Although I always knew it was bullshit. My dad hates women along with people of color, but that's another story, and my mom thinks all women are stupid, weak, and materialistic. I was getting my girlfriend a whiteboard because she liked to doodle and it would be a cute gift. My parents flipped shoot, telling me that was the dumbest gift ever and that shit would break up with me. So I got her a candle instead. She would later tell me a whiteboard was a fine gift, and I later got her one that we both enjoyed. We dated for 5 years and my mom kept hammering into me that my GF was gonna cheat on me all because I haven't bought her jewelry yet. From then on, I kept my dating life private from my pathetic family. You'll be empty and sad if you cut one of your parents out of your life. When I went away to college, I felt a gaping emptiness. That emptiness was family, and you'll feel it too. Wrong on all counts, mom. And good riddance. clean plate club and you'll grow up to be strong and healthy. She forgot to mention fat. Thanks mom. I feel this. My mother used to continually put extra food on my plate without asking, and my dad won't let me leave the table until he'd eaten it all. Sometimes the standoff went on for hours. Now my mother complains about my weight. They're teasing you because they like you. Very wrong. They bullied me because I was small and didn't fight back. It stopped when I finally snapped and threw one of them down a flight of stairs. Edit. Thank you for the silver. I got bullied a lot when I was a kid, and it was very difficult for me for a long time to differentiate between actual bullying and bro on bro ribbing. As a result, I often took my anger out on the wrong people, and it stunted a bunch of my childhood friendships. I eventually got through it thanks to some good advice from a cousin, but it took way too long. Lifelong self-confidence issues as a result. Navigating that territory can be really tough. Basically, if you think they're a friend, try giving them some shoot back and not just being so damn nice all the time. If they don't lash out when you do so, they're your brothers. Male friendships are really freaking weird sometimes. I'd still take it over female friendships, especially in HS. Watching what my sister sometimes went through with her friends was terrifying. That shoot got dark at times. My dad, a Teamster, warned me not to use my Bill on college. Instead, I should go out and get a good union job where I'll have a pension. Otherwise, any job I ever have, they could just fire me for no reason. Thankfully, I ignored him and got my bachelor's in electrical engineering. I've been working steadily now for about 20 years and have a very large amount saved for retirement. Music can only be your hobby. You should get a real job. Started making money only with music since 17. Never worked a day anywhere else and made a great career out of it. You just have to go talk to the manager. No, they'll tell me to apply online and probably think I'm stupid for not knowing to apply online, because literally every job expects you to apply online. I guarantee you, if I went in there and asked to speak with the manager, I'd get hired. You just have to show initiative. You have 30 years of industry experience at a well-known firm at the management level. Initiative is not the reason you're getting hired. It's because I have 6 months of experience and you have 30 years. I guarantee you, if I emailed the director of ours, I would get hired. Yes, because you're a senior employee, not a 22-year-old begging for a job. You'll get a job. You just need to want it and work harder. Maybe actually go out and look for a job instead of sitting on the internet all day. Holy shoot, shut the frick up. I've been mindlessly filling applications for 6 straight hours and I've been doing this for weeks and I've gotten 3 replies and they were all telling me I didn't get the job. There were 3 billion less people on earth when you got a job and the internet barely existed and people had more money to hire, because that was before your generation decided to frick the economy and make healthcare, housing, and education insanely expensive. Rant over. I have a job that I love now, but holy shoot, that was annoying. Don't play a brass instrument because it's for boys. Don't display your intelligence because boys find that intimidating.
And
making friends with people is so easy. My mom always criticized little things I would do and say you're never going to get a boyfriend if you do it that way. Turns out that those little things were the reason my boyfriend asked me out. Good thing I'm stubborn and didn't listen to her. Edit. I would also like to mention that I came out pansexual to my parents a year before me and my boyfriend got together. She still continued to say boyfriend, even though I literally had to explain to her at least 1,000,000 times that I have more options. So yeah, she's also a little salty about that, but at least my dad is chill with it. Don't ever hit back. Tell a teacher, FCK, that I was bullied relentlessly for years from about 4th grade until 8th grade. Just taking it mostly verbal, but some pushing, shoving, and people sweeping my legs out, etc. Util one day, in gym class, one of the worst ones shoved me into a wall, and it cracked a tooth. I finally had enough, and I punched him in the face so hard I broke his nose. While he was down, I kicked him in balls and in the head multiple times. Blood everywhere. I got suspended for 5 days. Totally worth it. No one ever bullied me after that. It was just that simple. If you fight back you're just playing their game. Just get a teacher. Turns out some people in authority positions just suck as people. Others actively abuse their power. Resisting with verbal, physical, or legal force is sometimes the only answer. Took me a long time to appreciate that. You can feed a family on minimum wage. Had her only if you're getting financial aid and food donations from a church. My family had built our lifestyle around being super poor. Glad I broke that cycle. My dad told me that you had to drink water and couldn't drink anything else like soda or Kool-Aid or whatever because your body wouldn't recognize it and you'd die of dehydration. University will be the best time of your life. Hell freaking no. Being isolated away from your support networks and friends while having severe mental issues is not fun. University is a breeding ground for stress and burnout, anxiety and depression. It's the first time many of us have lived away from home, and we haven't got a clue how to take care of ourselves. Sure there are fun parts, but it's freaking hard too. Mum told me the pill wasn't effective if I drank alcohol. This was her way to stop me drinking underage. It worked. I choose underage 6 instead. Only found out this was a lie in my 20s. I was shocked. I confronted her about it. She laughed and was proud it worked for so long. I was put on the pill at a young age by my gynecologist due to a medical condition. To ignore bullies. That's the worst kind of advice one could give to kids. Bullies don't want attention. They want to cause damage. Trying to ignore them only give them more power. They feel like they can do whatever they want without any repercussion. In my case, as shy female, the only thing that stopped my always males bullies was me punching them in the face. Then their poorly developed brain realized I was the easy prey they believed I was and stopped bullying me. I'm not proud of this, but I had to defend myself since family and teachers weren't unable to help me in the best case or brushed off the situation as unimportant in the worst. This works for adults too. Submissive people get used and abused. Teaching a young kid that they won't receive any help when they're threatened to lower their head and pretending nothing is happening will turn them into weak adults. Teach kids how to defend themselves. Damn it. Don't buy that old VW Beetle. I love that thing. It gave me a hobby, a sense of freedom, smiles from random strangers, and a huge international social circle. Shave your beard before interviewing for a job. I have never been hired after interviewing with a naked face. I have never failed to be hired after interviewing with a beard. 2008 through 2011 would have been a great deal easier if I hadn't followed their advice. When I was a young boy first trying to figure out how to holler at the ladies, my dad, who is Mexican for context, told me that the best way to get a girl's attention was to work your way close and in her ear whisper the phrase coochie coochie. Sounded simple enough. Did not have the intended outcome. My dad thought it was hilarious. It takes 2 hands to clap, a Confucian Chinese proverb which apparently means that if you disrupt the social order by being a victim, you probably did something to deserve it. Heard this one countless times growing up, and it was always bullshit. This is my response to this bullshit. So what did those toddlers and kids in the Holocaust do to deserve to be victims? Was that a result of their mentality? People that blame victims can frig right off. There are many things beyond our control that can hurt and destroy people. This is why looking out for your fellow person is a key tenet to many religions, although it should go without saying. My mum told me one day I'd meet the perfect man and had dumped me for having poor table manners. I met the perfect man, and he got egg stuck in his beard on our first date. 5 years later we're expecting a baby. I grew up in one of those batshit crazy organic / vegan / non-GMO households. My mother used to always say that GMOs are actually government controlled molecular robots that are used to control us. She used to also say that all gays have AIDS. FCKU mom. I'm now an extremely gay bio student working with molecular robots that can save lives. I had an EXS parents tell her that she wouldn't be able to get a job if she ever went to a psychologist or anything alike. That it would end up on some sort of list or permanent record which a job interviewer has access. Which added on to the issues she already had. Poor girl wouldn't dare reach out for help to anyone. Pretty much all of it. If I listened to them, it'd be a divorced community college dropout with 3 kids working a job I hate in a town that's dying and catering to their every whim. I'm a married, child-free engineer in a mid-sized city with absolutely no contact with my parents. Now I just have to deal with the PTSD that is my life gift from them. It doesn't matter what you major in. Just get a degree and you'll get a job easily. I graduated in the middle of the recession. Don't worry about having a plan financially. Everything will work out. Edit. Maybe I should specify that this particular comment came from a conversation about why I don't feel comfortable having kids just yet.
N.
If you go up to a table full of girls and say, "Hi, I'm new in town, and I was looking for someone to show me around," this has a higher chance of failure than success. Let's just say. Don't engage in oral sex. It brings demons into your house. Yes, my mom actually said this to me right before I got married and was a virgin. I told her anything my husband and I did in the marital bed was between us and God. Never give up. It's inspirational and shoot, but not the right thing to tell a kid. I was so stressed during school because I thought I couldn't let them down. It took me a long time to understand that it's okay to give up. Spend 1/4, save 3/4. My paycheck is $8 an hour. The determined minimum wage in America is $7.50. Who in their right mind would think I would be able to live with a savings mentality where my paycheck to spend freely food and shoot would basically be $2 an hour. Just be yourself and people will like you. Not when you have Asperger's and you never shut up. People will be kind to you if you're kind to them. BS. My dad told me never to take time for myself to have fun. Told me I needed to spend my whole life working and that's all that mattered. Also told me after my mom died that me being sad doesn't matter because that's life and nobody cares. Toughen up. I have a bunch. If I go to sleep with wet hair I will get sick. I cannot eat banana and drink milk together in the morning. If I sleep late, my hair will turn white. I cannot whistle at nights because it attracts ghosts. The list goes on. The first I remember registering as bullshit was when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade. I can't remember how the topic came up, but I remember making some statement about not lying to my kids one day and my father said, "If you're the parent, you can tell them anything you want. It's not like they are there to see what really happened." My father's lived a lot of this, but has completely discounted the notion that other people witness stuff and can corroborate or disprove a story. A big later one was, student loans are good debt. You'll get your degree, get a good job, and pay it off in no time. I think I'm 10 years into payments, and I'm down $6K from when the interest peaked, and $10K over what I originally took out. I should just try to get that first job I interviewed for. I would have been miserable there. Like, get out in 3 months miserable. I remind myself that there is a filter that Reddit puts on reality, as does any medium, as does your parents' rose-colored memories and advice derived that memory. This isn't a binary world, and people's experiences, whether exaggerated, made up, or completely accurate, does not mean I should draw definite conclusions from what I read in this thread. Because some parents said to go to college and their children would be guaranteed a big income, and that didn't happen, that does not mean that college is in fact a waste of money every time. That might not even be true most of the time. There are so many variables, such as how that time in school was spent, internships, working, volunteering, networking, and what type of major was pursued. It certainly is believable that people could have done everything right and still fell short of what their parents said, but that isn't a set in stone rule. Also, I always hear about how one adult could work 20 hours at a factory and that was enough to own 2 houses, 4 cars, yearly vacations, while supporting a spouse and 15 kids. But the fact that other people might have been in a better situation doesn't mean I should skip college as a rule. It just means that if I'm taking advice from a parent, I should keep that context in mind. Yes, baby boomers can have bad advice. Taking Reddit as truth can be even worse. Don't tell anyone, or bad things will happen. Let people vent and complain to you, but don't do it back. Doing it back is putting the weight of all your burdens on them, and that's not what good friends do. Schoolwork shouldn't be that hard. It wasn't nearly as hard as you say it is when I was your age. You should study more. What the frick do you think I'm doing, mother? If I studied anymore, I would not have time to eat, sleep, use the toilet, do my chores, or enjoy free time when I've finally finished my work. I'm perfectly happy with my B average. A 99% is a failing grade. Now it's the reason I'm stressed out all the time. If you don't become a doctor, dentist, pharmacist, or engineer, the only job you'll be able to get is as a hotel porter.
N.
My mother's advice to me regarding sex: the best gift you can give your husband is yourself. Mom, him the gift that keeps on giving. When I asked her if dad was a virgin when they got married, she got offended and told me that she never asked because it was none of her business. WTF. Spoiler alert, they split up after 40 years of marriage due to his constant cheating. Don't turn on the indoor car lights at night or the cops will pull you over. I believed all my life it was illegal. Cannabis will ruin your life. I now have a good job with an ancillary cannabis company. My father advised me to stay in your own country. That's where you're the happiest. I travel abroad at least once a year and am the happiest man alive. When I got my first credit card at 18, he told me to make sure I just pay the minimum due and to carry over a small balance. That snowballed into disaster real quick. It took until I was 32 to fix that.